Yes, and whoo! What's up, everybody? Sorry for the lateness. Had to do something. Had to have a few talks with people. I'm going to talk about something very dear before I open it up. It's going to be a mini rant. If y'all don't mind the mini rant. You know what the real problem with this new generation of adults? The problem with this new generation of adults is they don't want to have to make the hard decisions. And you know, like I know, life is full of them damn things. Hold on for a second. I'm back, folks. Like I was saying, this generation does not want to make the hard decisions. I guess we'll take some responsibility of it because we tried to shield them from them. But in order to make a better adult, we're going to have to make we're going to have to make people stronger. We're going to have to put you through the crucible. We're going to have to do something new. We're going to have to do something inventive. But you're going to have to go through the crucible yourself. Life ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be sugar plum fairies. And I'm okay with that. This generation doesn't want to make the hard decisions. Why do you think Pete Hegseth said, once he becomes Secretary of Defense, we got to get rid of that shit? That wokeness shit. It's like the DEI. What does DEI got to do for black men? They ain't doing a damn thing for us. Notice, black men don't care. We shouldn't either. Because usually when we make hard decisions, we got to make them generationally. Nobody gives a damn. I mean, give me a woo if I can speak to you real quick. How many motherfuckers you know right now, right now, that are the ages of 17 to 25 and they're having a hard time out there in life? Join the military, join the Peace Corps, join Job Corps. See, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for people when you've been through shit. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for people when they're not trying. Why? Why? Because you're always, as a man, going to be fit with the bill. You know that? You're always going to be hit with the bill. And these young men out here don't even know what the fuck the real world is really going to hit them with. They don't. They have no clear fucking idea. And see, the problem is when you tell people some real shit, you become public enemy number one about it. When you tell them, hey, why don't you just join the military? Well, this person going through classes. You got to be a benefit. See, I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired as black men always got to wait for the benefit that may never come. But they got to be beneficial to the whole fucking world. Why? 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 See, I'm a 42-year-old man. I got nothing but hard decisions to make. Who the fuck can I cry to? There's some days if I didn't have my veterans benefits, who the fuck's gonna keep me afloat? But no, we gotta raise a bunch of junior gynocrats and then wonder why the world is what it is. It's ridiculous. It's redundant. Stop thinking the world owes you something. If people are nice to you, that's because of the benefit of the doubt. It's not because they have to. And it's amazing. You wonder why these generations are becoming slack. But when it was my day, we had to figure it the fuck out. There wasn't anybody to hold your hand. If you had a mentor, you were fucking lucky. Most of your goddamn mentors nowadays are a bunch of jailbirds. And I'm talking about motherfuckers who's actually in prison now. The streets really glorify some bullshit. But it goes back to what I said. Nobody wants to hear figure it out. Nobody wants to hear make a plan. Everybody think they're supposed to take the safe road. There ain't no safe road. Stop thinking there's a safe road you could take. There's the link if anybody want to join up. Shit kind of fundamentally pisses me off. Thinking of safety. Man, worry about your own damn nuts before you can worry about somebody else. Do that. I think that's part of the problem. Life's too fucking easy. Motherfuckers want life under the protection of a gazebo. That's all. I don't even know what to say about this, man. I think a lot of people got life really fucked up. At best. I'm just talking about how there's a lot of young people who need to grow up. Seize the day. Because you know what's gonna happen? Life's gonna pass you the fuck by. Everybody can't. This is the problem with young people. You take on too many burdens, which I was guilty of when I was younger, and you forget to take care of yourself. Don't be that dumbass. Don't be that dumbass who can't take care of themselves when you're trying to take care of the world. Because I know sure as hell I was a dumbass, and it never fails. Never fucking fails. You'll be so upset with yourself. I'll be like, damn, I wasted all my time doing this shit. And the answer's gonna be, yep, sure did. I could have been getting my shit together. Sure could have. But you know what people don't do? They don't focus on what they need. You keep focusing on everybody else, you're gonna be lost in the sauce. You're gonna be real fucked up in the game, right? And nobody wants to see you do well. See, this is how life really works. When you go through strife and heartache, how many people got your back? How many people are gonna have your back? But if I gotta teach you to be an adult, you gotta learn today. You need to learn. I think that's the biggest problem there with a lot of young people. You want to be a child for as long as you possibly can, but you want to have adult benefits. Can't work that way. Never will. See, when you got to think of yourself, everybody calls you selfish. Folks always tell you self preservation is a motherfucker. It truly is. And if you're not one of the people who's ready for that, then I don't know what to tell you. Certainly don't know what to tell you. I can't save the world anymore. It's kind of funny. What's up, Clark? What's up, Clark? How you feeling? You're muted if you say something. But I'm just gonna put shit out there, man. This is part of the gynocentric thinking that a lot of men, especially black men, need to give up. You can't save the world anymore. You can't rescue everybody anymore. You gotta be your own savior. And it's not being mean to people, but you gotta learn how to survive on your own.
Yo, Charles, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
How you doing, Chief?
How you been, man?
I've been well. Long time no talk to. Good to hear you. Happy 2025 to you.
Yeah, same to you, bro.
Appreciate it.
What do you think?
Real,
Go ahead.
yeah, I didn't totally grasp the full. If you had a steady topic for tonight, or if
Not
you were
tonight.
just kind of freestyling a little bit.
Nothing tonight. But I'm just talking about how you know these new adults are they have a delayed adulthood. You know,
Right.
they got to learn to see themselves. And it's not me feeling sorry for them because I've done my part. I've looked out for so many for so long, and it's like, dude, at some point you gotta have to look for yourself.
You said something years ago. I think it was about maybe 5 or so years ago on a panel. You said, it's the responsibility of the individual who may be younger or less experienced to reach out to someone more senior and more experienced for their
Yeah,
guidance, their tutelage, and their help. Right? It's not necessarily somebody's job to reach back to you or for you
yeah,
to reach out for help if you need it.
yeah,
And I think the paradox with that is sometimes in our youth and our adolescence, we don't recognize the help or the tutoring or the coaching that we need and the
yeah.
benefit that it could actually be, to us in our development, whether in our teens or 20s and even through your 30s and beyond. But that's a revelation I've come to in my life that, nobody is really responsible for your success. Um,
Not a clue.
and if someone is taking that initiative to reach out and support you and help you and give back, I mean, that's a bonus. That's not something that's really
Necessary.
necessary or an obligation. I mean, and I know I've received that at points in my life, but as a growing adult, I recognize that. But I will say one of the reasons I came up because I've been wanting to throw this your way for a while. Time just hasn't allowed me. Wanted to get your take on the Marilyn Mosby situation. I saw that she was sentenced a couple months ago, and they were lobbying. A lot of people were trying to lobby the Biden administration to give her a pardon before he left office. And clearly he didn't do that. But I didn't know if you had any more insight on Marilyn Mobley, if you done other streams on it. I wanted
I've
to get
done
your
other
take.
streams when I warned people about her, and a lot of the dirt shit she was doing came out. It's it's funny because when we saw this, I'm like, why would y'all want to get her, a pardon when first and foremost, you really think that she's done things to deserve it? If she would have convicted those 6 Baltimore cops for the Freddie Gray, you think she would pardon? She would try to fight to get them pardoned? Here's the fucked up part. You literally lied while you were in office, making $250,000, and you're worth about 14 mil. That you were going through a struggle while people were losing their jobs at COVID. Not too many people are gonna find that forgivable. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you, but I saw a lot of people lobbying for her, man. Nationally.
People will lobby for any and every goddamn thing, man. And I think that's fucked up. I think it's real fucked up. Because it's like, think about it. How many people did Kamala Harris put to jail that they never lobby to get people pardoned, excused from their time of being called a criminal? So you're trying to get the money and all that shit out? I think you're fucked up to that.
Now, if you don't mind providing context, what was the situation with the 6 police officers?
That was the Freddie Gray. They were charged for the in custody death for Freddie Gray,
Okay.
but it was a mistrial. Then they found out they were not. They were acquitted of wrongdoing. And I told people, like, look, what they're really guilty of is not playing the game.
But was she defending those officers, or was she the one prosecuting?
He's a prosecutor, man.
Okay.
And she tried to forge, and she got a fucking sheriff department major to sign off on the paperwork, and the motherfucker didn't even know what the fuck was on there. So you're that hell bent on getting a conviction to make up your case, and then come down the line, you get caught up in some wrong shit. So I mean, hey, you gotta keep your nose clean. Reap what you sow. And I'm looking at that because, part of me is like, yeah, you need to wait till the case and all the evidence is out. And there's some dirty shit she was doing. She was trying to put a fucking gag order on the officers for not speaking. There was the trying to hide evidence. There was some raggedy shit going on. So let me know if there's any more stuff you want me to talk about.
One other thing I want to throw your way. I'm doing some studying about police overtime pay in different districts across the country.
Mm-hmm.
big discussion going on because I'm looking at New York City in particular. They were talking about how the union's looking to renegotiate the contract, and they're projected to be 50% over what was budgeted for the previous year in terms of they're finding that they're spending excessively on overtime pay. I think overtime pay definitely is warranted for officers. I know different municipalities have different situations. Some it's mandatory overtime, some it's per I guess request or per diem or as needed.
Yeah.
Your scope on, you have a saying, yesterday's price isn't today's price, which I love. Which
Yep.
what's your what's your kind of take and thoughts on overtime pay as an officer and the union's position on these things in different municipalities?
Well, the biggest issue is, do you have enough officers to fit those slots? There's some things, like if you're going to a baseball game, which are not mandatory, those are requests. There's some overtime slots where you got to stay because we're short when you're getting drafted for next shift. So until they build more people who want to join, you're going to still have overtime, or take the risk of not having a cop come to your door when you need them the most. I think it's like you don't appreciate the garbage man or the sanitation engineer to be politically correct until your garbage starts to pile up, right?
Right.
And when we look at the overtime, as long as there was a general need and it was legally filled, I don't see a problem with it. I know some districts or some jurisdictions put limitations on it. Oh, you can only do 40 hours overtime a week. But, what are you going to do when there's a need? You going to mandatory make me go anyway? There's a lot of shit that they had to pull in. Oh, you can't draft anybody before their days off. If they're off the next few days on their H days, you're not supposed to draft them. There are some people who get drafted back to back, which is unfair because you're wearing them all fuck out. And this is what's going to happen to a lot of police departments till you get back to the recruiting drive, or you get back some experienced officers back and you pay them handsomely. Your young people are going to go through burnout like I did at one time.
Right.
You're burnt the fuck out. God forbid you have a young child. They have birthday parties. They have school events. And you're burnt the fuck out. You better pray that you have some senior people who can work the shift for you. And that's another thing. You got to think, a lot of these young officers, they're the leave book where you put in all your leave the first of the year, you probably won't get it. It goes by seniority. So if you're at the bottom of the totem pole, you're probably most likely going to get your vacation in what? October, January, maybe somewhat April. You're not going to see 4th of July for at least about 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I was lucky because, we had an influx of people coming in, so I became senior very quickly. But that's not everybody's life and time, is it?
Right.
So I don't have a problem with overtime as long as there's a real need and as long as there's a necessary component. So I don't have a problem with it. It's the problem of the department that a lot of the higher ups don't manage the budget well. Think about it. You should do more when it comes to training. I'm pretty sure the citizenry don't want to. Oh no, we don't need a better trained officer to come to our aid. No, fuck that. Phobic nigga. But when it comes to overtime, I think that's great. You should tax that. You should tax the city's asses because they're gonna tax you. Hey, what's up, ABM?
What's good, man?
Trying to style, trying to profile. You know me. You know, trying to keep it up there.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna come right back. I got some work to do. Give me like 2 minutes.
Cool. Yeah. You know, like
Charles, the position, the argument is, I'm going to play some counter arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Be one, I'm paying my tax dollars, right, are going towards this service, but where is the proactive, preventative policing versus the responsive policing? And we know that this is a result of a lot of stuff post 2020 and the George Floyd stuff. So the one argument is, hey, we pay the taxes, y'all show up when everybody's dead. Second argument, overtime pay. Police officers commissioned to do an overnight watch of a construction site. Signs in, but actually isn't on site and is somewhere else.
You know, majority.
These are arguments that I'm getting from folks at City Hall and in the field. Arguments. I have a very good friend who's a sergeant in a mid-major city, and this is the stuff that's coming to our council now about why we shouldn't be proponents of, or let me phrase it this way: crack down on overtime pay. Mm-hmm. We're not getting this preventive, this proactive policing. It's just responsive policing after the fact, right? Folks are even saying, look, can y'all bring back potentially stop and frisk?
Oh, remember what I said that last 2 years ago?
Yeah, we're getting that. Bring back stop and frisk.
So I like this question. Keep going. Because
right. So those are the two. I would put those two buckets. We pay taxes, but you guys are showing up after the fact, right? We don't just want this responsive policing. We want you guys to be on the front foot, be proactive. We want to see you in the community, not just sitting in the car or in a cruiser somewhere in the cut. We need you on the street. Pat somebody down, ask questions, be observant. And then two, well, if we are paying overtime, what's a mechanism or some systems we can put in place to ensure that officers are actually at the site where they are doing overtime or registered to do overtime? How can we hold them accountable? Those are the two kind of pushbacks that I'm hearing.
Well, a lot of your overtime is being computerized now. Number two. So, their overtime is being computerized and tracked. So, let's look at it, right? People pay their taxes, right? Policing is majority reactive. Okay? Unless we develop telepathy and read people's minds, which I'm pretty sure that would be under the Fourth Amendment anyway, if we did. Unless we drive and we catch the person, we're going to be reactive to a lot of stuff. And I would also say to the people, weren't y'all the motherfuckers who said you wanted the police to keep out of your business?
That's what I said. 2020. What was the cry in 2020? F the police. F the police. Defund the police. I told people in 2020, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And now here we are in our Lord's year of 2025. And I've got people coming to my office, offices of my associates, complaining about where are the police? Why aren't we getting this? Why aren't they doing that? Where are the cops at? But please continue.
And here's the craziest part. When we were doing that, for example, in Baltimore, our homicide rate was down to like 178. After the Freddie Gray riots, even when they had a curfew, all your homicides for 2-3 weeks under the curfew were done in the daytime. So we for the first time in a long time, we were down to 178 basically. And the next year after the riots, it shot up what? Well, the next year during the riots, it shot up to like 3 something. People don't understand that when we do the proactive policing, that means we pull over more cars. That means we stop people that ask more questions. But this is what people cried about. We're not supposed to stop you hanging on the corner. Now you'll see people up York Road 20 deep. Matter of fact, they had a call yesterday about York Road, which is part of my old district, Northern District in Baltimore, 5400 block of York Road, where a lady was shot and killed in a car, a dude was shot, and an 11-year-old girl was grazed by a bullet. At 5 p.m., 5 p.m. When I was there working York Road, you cleared that block. If they were not moving, you tell them to move. But now, because of thanks to people like Mosley, what happened? People get empowered to be lazy fucks. Cops are not going to risk their career getting sued, and especially when the city doesn't have their back. So what guarantees are those people going to have when it comes to their career? You have to ask yourself that. If we go back to the stop and frisk, everybody wants to see, everybody wants to make a complaint. So, got to deal with there. This is what people ask for. I don't know why they upset with it now.
No, in your opinion, your professional opinion, what is the biggest or probably the most prevalent downside of stop and frisk? It would seem to me to be the potential for racial discrimination. I think that was the major pushback. Well, and I guess what the 90s and the early 2000s was where you're targeting black males, young black males in particular.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't seem like it's equal stop and frisk across the board.
Well, man, if you're in a city like Baltimore where it's roughly 70% black, you're gonna engage with more black folk.
True, and you're also going to do stop and frisk in areas that have
The
probably the
most
most
crime.
crime.
And the most crime.
Most
And
crime.
unfortunately, black people have this love of criminality. Not saying that black people are just naturally criminals, because nobody talks about the white boys when they talk about being an outlaw. You know, they can celebrate Jesse James, they can celebrate Josie Wales and all these other fucking people. They could celebrate John Gotti and Al Capone, but nobody talks about that. But what tends to be is that because of lack of resources, lack of opportunities, time and idle time is the devil's playground, a lot of your crime's going to be in the black community. You don't even give. This is the reason why we have a Manosphere.
Have you ever participated in a stop and frisk search?
Yes. Well, stop and frisk is different than a search, because a stop and frisk is supposed to be the outermost garment.
Okay.
A search is when I'm going inside your pocket. So the same probable cause I need to arrest you. It's the same probable cause I need to search you. So
What
search
would be the basis? What would be the basis of you doing a stop and frisk? Could you give me an example?
if I get a call and a substantial call, or if I see a person who's displaying um, characteristics of an armed person, like the bulge, and you know how people have a natural sway of the arms. And if I see a bulge on their side, but they don't want to move that arm in case, they're trying to keep something hidden. And it depends on the call.
All right, let's scenario. I'm at John Hopkins. I'm an administrator at John Hopkins. I'm out in the courtyard. I see someone across the street, hand in his coat, walking back and forth. I get on the phone, 911, Baltimore PD. Hey, we've got somebody out here. He's looking suspicious, hands in his coat. He's walking up and down the block. Can we get an officer out here? On a call of that nature, is that enough for you to initiate a stop and frisk?
Now, if it's a danger to someone or there's a possible weapon in the call, then yes. Now, we also have to be cognizant when you're doing a stop and frisk. You're not checking for drugs. You're checking for weapons, and it has to be on the outermost garment. You can't go inside the pocket. So if you don't feel something that's a weapon, and let's say they have a knife or a gun, that doesn't necessarily mean that constitutes an arrest.
Okay.
I could
how do you initiate that engagement with that individual?
Depends on the circumstance. If he's in a hostile nature, if it was a hostile call, I would have to do things accordingly. Would my gun be out possibly, or if not? Depends on the call. I would ask, unless if I'm arresting you, I don't have to ask, because if I arrest you, I can search you. So I'm just going to search you and go inside your pockets. So it depends, because not every call is the same. But formatically, if it's a felony stop, my gun's going to be out. But if it's an argument and I'm starting to see like different things that display an armed person, then yeah. But because you have a more hands-off policy, you're not going to see that as much as anymore.
Do you see any movement, at least in your scope, from where you sit in law enforcement, of us maybe moving back to an environment of proactive policing?
Possibility, if they get rid of all this liberal shit, because let's face it, a lot of these chicks have been raising their kids, especially their sons, to be fucking hellions. So you're forcing people's hand. Like 5 o'clock in the evening, a lady in the car with an 11-year-old girl and a dude should not be shot, and the lady killed. You're gonna have to have stronger enforcement. You're gonna have to do what's called an after action review. You're gonna have to flood that block with cops. You're gonna have to take more accountability. And yes, there should be some proactiveness, but it also matters if we have the ability to, one, have the numbers out there, because look at your retention and your recruitment, it's down.
Why? What again, I want your professional opinion. Why is that?
Why is it down? I.e. Marilyn Mosby.
But let me. Is it down across the board, nation, or are you speaking specifically to Baltimore?
Nationwide.
Yeah, that's kind of what the vibe.
Look what happens to when you have a stop. You're arrested a criminal. Now you're the one scrutinized. This guy could be a holy terror to the block, but You're the one who's scrutinized. You could arrest the second coming of fucking Tony Montana. You're the one scrutinized. And how long are you gonna deal with that shit? How long are you gonna deal with charge happy sergeants, and a lot of your supervisors are not street cops. They're usually in the office somewhere.
Yeah.
Or as soon as chicks either join the academy or get promoted, they get pregnant and they could be out for damn near 2 years. I mean,
On its face, policing seems to me to be a really solid career.
just solid.
I
But
mean, in
it, it's,
terms
it's,
of
it's the fact that a lot of times the media likes to be negative, and instead of departments that usually do have cyber and media putting a better light on policing, they always have these groups who think we're just losing out and we're not doing anything until you bring people on a ride along and see what the hell do you got to go through. People are just gonna have that negative connotation about it.
yeah.
So Charles,
Go ahead.
excuse me,
Go ahead.
Charles, how you liking Trump these first couple of days, man?
He's doing what he said he's doing, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
And I don't have a problem with DEI being driven out. It's never
No,
benefited
sir.
in anyway.
Did you see the clip of that woman cop that accidentally shot the black guy?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
It was a traffic stop. Now he has to get out the vehicle. She calls back up. He has a holstered weapon. So now she's reaching in the holster to remove the gun, and she ended up shooting him accidentally. Shot him in the thigh.
Why? Why not just wait for backup?
No, backup was there. And the crazy part is that, of course they got the body cam on. She had 2 fingers on the trigger.
And she's reaching in the car.
He's already out the car, and now she's going in his holster to remove the gun. So I'm like, okay, so why is your fingers on the trigger?
What do they say? You fail to plan, you plan to fail.
And I said, see, that right there is why I'm happy DEI is gone.
Yeah. You don't get the best of the best. Why are you removing the gun? If you're not sure how to remove that gun from a holster, even though you should know how to remove it, and just because you can manipulate a Glock does not mean you're the master of all firearms. Because I'm gonna tell you, one of the worst guns you can ever fucking detach is a 1911. It's one of the most durable, but it's one of the worst ones to take apart. And that also says, wait a minute, was the guy handcuffed with his arms in the air? What was his position?
Now, he wasn't even cuffed yet. I think his hands was on top of the truck.
Man, that is so terrible. And let's just face it. You see a lot more females in policing because it's a steady gig and because of the overtime. And you have a lot of young men getting convinced not to join it, but guess who's willing to take it? White boys and black men.
That video I just put in the back chat, Charles, when your time permits, I'd love for you to review it and hear your thoughts at a future date. But that was one of the things. You had these officers making like $400K. I think the base salary would have been like 140, and they're making like $400K via overtime. So again, I'm not gonna get into the is it right, is it wrong, who, what, and where, and
Do
when.
I
But
have a problem with them making 400K as long
hell
as
no,
as
hell
long as
no,
they work the overtime? Fuck it, I
hell
don't
no.
care.
I don't either. And this is
Now, should there
I'm
be
drilling on the point that I think it's a really solid career because you can earn very well in policing.
now for safety reasons, I'm gonna have to limit your overtime up there because you're really not supposed to work legally more than 16 to 20 hours with a gun because you don't want to get into being tired and you have a deadly force situation. You don't want to deal with that when there's fatigue. So there has to be some type of limitations because of the fatigue factor. But if you take away the fatigue factor and all that, but I have a problem? No. I think the higher ups have a problem because you have people who are captains, lieutenants, captains, majors who will get jealous because it's much easier for an officer to get overtime than a supervisor. And they'll get jealous because, motherfuckers like the pocket watch. So, besides the factor of fatigue, I wouldn't have a problem. But now, fatigue, because of the fatigue factor, that's what I would have. If I was in charge, I would have to limit it.
I hear you. Hey, but there's money to be made in policing. That's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good money to be made.
That's why I'm just wondering, like, y'all motherfuckers y'all gonna let these white boys take the jobs? Okay. Not too bright.
I agree.
But you know what I said for years? Join the military, join the police. Black people don't want to listen to reason and sounding.
What year did the Great Faulkner Initiative come out?
It's got to be like 8 years now, man. Damn near 9.
Wow.
And
I've got a PDF copy.
oh yeah, If anybody need the PDF, just let me know. I'll email it. I'm just wondering for a lot of people, this is actually the president and the time to actually initiate the Great Faulkner Initiative because when Kamala Harris got in office, black men would have been buried like a. It would have been like a buried alive match with the Undertaker, man. You wouldn't have had no chance. You would have had no chance in hell. And I'm wondering, like, what do a lot of people really think about it? Because I'm like, hey, you have to be able to actually control a lot of this going on when it comes to police. But if you want to cut down the overtime, then you're going to have to recruit more people. Simply there. But until they want to recruit more people, what else can you do?
I've been telling people to look into bounty hunting and working for ICE. They're gonna get a lot of fucking work these next 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're gonna get the hell of a work.
And bounty hunters, you don't even need experience or a bunch of training.
I would strongly disagree. I think you need hella training to do that because legally in Maryland, my licensing, I could legally do bounty hunting, but the guys working with me now are not trained to do that. Like, you're gonna have to know what to do in a CQC environment because you're going up in people's houses and looking for people, you got to be quick on a draw. You might get dogs running after you. You might have people with some really fucked up homes. So I don't mind it, but make sure the training's up there. Like if you never did a room clearing, take a class in it. If you've never done any type of SWAT work, take a class in it. It will benefit you in the long run. Now, if you're gonna do that, make sure you're trained. I think that's one of the craziest parts about it. You got to get trained. Now, any more questions?
Has it been confirmed that ICE is paying up to $750 for, information about illegals?
Probably more. Probably more.
I think Saturday morning I'm gonna go to the Home Depot out there in Dundalk just to see if anybody out there.
Yeah,
Just to see if anybody's standing out in the parking lot.
Right there when you turn off Eastern Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, they stand up there like they ready to go to war. Oh man, he like shit. Must be the body. It's got it going on. But man, that's gonna be some shit right there, boy.
I think Brandon Scott's trying to moonwalk now. Now he's saying that Baltimore is not a sanctuary city. That's crazy because everything I've read prior to the election was saying that Baltimore is a sanctuary city.
You know what? It's called flip flopping. It's called flip flopping. That's what I think it is. It's like you can't right now. You have a lot of the Venezuelan gangs in Maryland, and you have enough Hispanics here who they can easily blend in with. And this is what happens when you're trying to be on the good side of the president. When they know that, remember when he had the beef with Elijah Cummings, and he said the city you're at is a shithole.
Yeah, I remember.
And I still to my thing think, what the fuck have you done for Baltimore when you were here, Elijah? With all due respect. I'm not saying, somebody please bring it to my recollection. I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but what did you do?
He got rich. That's that.
Exactly. And I'm just thinking to myself, Charles couldn't be mayor of Baltimore because I would fire everybody. You want to get jobs in Maryland and Baltimore? Guess what? Get some of those fucking people to clean out some of these fucking alleys. Get some of these people to clean out some of these fucking vacants. Get some trades back into the schools and into the jails. Get some scholarships to some black boys and girls to go to school. We'll start at our JROTC and a police explorers plan in every school. Too much like right? Well,
hell, you have people to clean out the alleys. It's called the city. People don't call the city. They don't get on 311 and tell people to come get this fucking alley clean. I do it all the time. That's literally all you have to do.
I mean, I don't blame you for that one. I don't blame you. You should make them do their jobs.
Not only will they clean the alleys, they'll clean the front. They'll come cut grass, trees, bushes, whatever the fuck. All you have to do is get on the fucking 311 app or just get on the 311 website. A lot of black people don't give a shit about their community. That's all it is to it.
I'm just like, sometimes you gotta. Plus, it's like, you gotta. Plus, you gotta make people do their job. You gotta make people give a fuck. You gotta. That's why I think, for some of these city houses, you ought to be partnership with the people where they can actually take care of half the house, mortgage, and they're half responsible, and make people give a fuck more. If you brought back a tax base in Baltimore, for example, a lot of your issues would be solved, right?
Yeah.
It would be. Well, like I know, we've been here for decades. We're born and raised, man. Baltimore could be a great city, and it is a great city, but it could go to even greater limits if people gave a fuck. Like, really, you need to revamp that harbor place and a lot of that shit to bring tourism. And number one, I would get armed security and I would get police and I would have them block the block downtown, because I'd be goddamn if a fucking tourist can get robbed or killed downtown. Sorry, you got it. But this is the part where, you could have got you could have got my security firm and hired us. Hey, you young boys need a job, we'll train you and put a gun on your hip. You'll make damn good money. But what is it? There's a fear of the independent black man. I think that's the part about it. And it's something about a black man who can make his own money and be independent. It's amazing. What's another idea you think Trump should be doing, or he already said on his agenda he's working on?
Let me see. Damn, he covered so many bases, man. I like that he's getting rid of the trans kids in school, all of that
Bullshit.
Weirdo gender shit. No more boys on girls sports teams.
Only two
Man,
genders.
I honestly can't complain about Trump right now.
No,
I tell you what I do think, and this might be a little controversial. Get rid of welfare.
I think that's what's coming up. They're going to severely limit welfare. I said, get rid of welfare and support the veterans. That money, you can give a lot of veterans their full disability. You can't say they didn't earn it.
And not only that, but start implementing programs to encourage marriage. The same way they encourage baby daddy, baby mama.
Yeah.
Put in programs to encourage marriage.
You literally could give a lot of tax breaks, housing breaks, educational breaks. You're gonna need it because look what's happening to the society. Your society's in a moral decay. So what the hell else you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, Blood Boiling said, implement true masculinity programs for male use. Remember, black men, this is the time for you to speak out. Don't be shy. See, right now, you got a war vet as a VP, and you got somebody in the office who's on their messianic mission right now. Because after he got grazed with that bullet, it must be divine right of God that he's president right now. And I told people, I said, after that assassination attempt, he's going to become president because it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And by the way, Clark and ABM, how much egg on the face does the Black Journalists Association have on their face right now?
Oh my God. Plenty.
Because we're not far removed from that interview where they were rude as fuck to him. You feel me, Clark? You feel me, ABM?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Because I want to see the next interview when he's there. And what are they going to say? And by the way, if Harris Faulkner gets a position as press for the White House, shout out to her. She deserves it. It takes a Faulkner woman to show you what a woman acts like. He is one of the. I will say this about Harris Faulkner. That is the grace I wish all black women would retain.
And didn't softball him either.
Nope, didn't softball him, but wasn't rude.
But courteous, professional, respectful.
He was
Asked
enamored.
the question. Yeah.
He was enamored by her.
And she's been like that for years. She's
Very
been
well spoken,
like
very well mannered. See, that's why I'm gonna say it again. When they say, "Why don't you show us the good women that y'all talk about?" How many times did I talk about Harris Faulkner? How many times did I say, "Did you notice Trump even said, you know, he loves it when he does an interview by her. He feels respected. He feels, he feels engaged. Like, wow, this is how a president's supposed to be treated." I think don't be surprised if he makes her career. You heard it here first, by the way, gentlemen. Don't be surprised if Trump gives her a nudge somewhere, give her an interview to make her blow the fuck up. Because his first official interview was the 47th president. Should be with her. I said it. But I forgot. We don't salute black women on this channel, right? We don't do that. I think Harris Faulkner, yes, a black female, should have the first interview with the newly or I should say the newly reinstated President Trump. I think she should get it.
They didn't respect Condoleezza Rice
Mm,
simply because she was a Republican.
exactly. Well, I'm gonna catch you there, right there, my fellow Baltimorean. Why is it that you never see them put Condoleezza up on the same pedestal as Michelle? You look at, like we just spoke about, Harris Faulkner. Wouldn't you say Harris Faulkner would be a great role model for young black girls and young black women?
Yes.
I don't think she's softball like Clark said. She didn't softball him. She gave him the hard hitting questions, but she was so pristine. She had class. She had manners. She was even kill. She was beautiful in that. But why is she put up on the pedestal as Michelle with black women? I think, is it the fact that she's catering?
She's not ghetto like Jasmine Crockett.
Ah,
The only reason why they give Michelle props is because she was first lady.
yeah,
That's really it.
yeah. And,
You know how black people are. They love name brand.
oh yeah, they love name brand recognition. They love that shit. And I'm just looking at it like all these people talking about, oh my God, he took DEI out. You do know that the Congressional Act of Civil Rights and labor labor protections are still in effect, right? It's just so you can't discriminate on people. Really need to read the laws. And ignorance is bliss, and sometimes you got to wipe the smile off your goddamn face. I'm just looking at it. And did you actually see where Bitcoin went up when he got elected? What else?
XRP.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
Bitcoin went the fuck off. You noticed those hostages were released. It's like this motherfucker got the aura, like he got the glow. Like that motherfucker, as soon as he put his hand on the Bible, he was like this. Just he came out there like this, walking out. And I think that's the first time we saw it inside the Capitol building, right? Since I've been alive, the first time I've seen the president in the Capitol building.
Yeah.
He didn't do the traditional walking to the White House either. Obviously not, because of the past, 3 assassination attempts? Wow. But I just want to point this out there. Did he not have one of the rockiest fucking roads to the presidency ever?
Yes, he did.
When you look at what was in front of him, the odds in front of him, all the lawsuits, the assassination attempts, plural, the debate debacle, and bounces back from the debate debacle.
Mm-hmm.
You had the party you're going against at the last minute, the 11th hour, change their candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the media, legacy media, is against you.
Yep.
Mainstream liberal media clearly against you. Hell of a road.
Yeah.
Hell of a road. I don't know if we've seen a president have to go through all that. Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I'm just like, wow. This is historic for more than one reason. He's the second president in America's history to have non-consecutive terms. And to go through that murderous, no pun intended, murderous road of all the bad publicity, all the law, like you said, the lawsuits, the assassination attempts, and all that shit, and to come out smelling like a rose, man, that motherfucker should have played a lottery ticket too. So
I think the problem a lot of black people have is a lot of black people don't respect power. They don't understand how power is supposed to work,
yeah,
and they don't understand somebody doing something that's going to benefit their people.
yeah,
Because we're so used to our people not doing shit for us. So when other people do shit to benefit their people, it has to be racism.
has to be. And you should have a little bit of, and think about it. Because racism, the term, has a negative connotation, as it should. But what if we just look at somebody who looks for the betterment of their people without without hating another person or people? Wouldn't you want to do uplift the black race in America? It doesn't mean I gotta hate anybody else. I can love everybody else, but I could do for my people.
Facts.
I think that black people, like you said, like we talked about many times on the show, they're ignorant and phobic of power. They have a big phobia about that. And they don't know how to prioritize the most important shit to survive.
Facts.
Charles,
Yes, sir.
I want you to give me your philosophy on black men and the fear of success.
Oh, that black women have a fear of failure and black men have a fear of success because
And go all the way in, Charles. Go all the way in.
I think that's one of your great points.
black men have a fear of success because much is given, much has to be earned. One, I think a lot of black women have bred the work ethic out of black men. I think that black men have gotten to the point where they've begun to fear being intelligent because they notice many different things where the most intelligent man in our community do not get the attention of the women. Now, when it comes to being a successful black man, have you noticed that you have to alienate yourself away from your group? The only person that has to alienate themselves from their group is an intelligent black man. But a black woman with a degree is at home, right? Here's the craziest part, right? And going back into that, since y'all want me to go deep, since we're gonna juxtapose this, have you ever noticed that a black woman will get a degree but never can find a husband in the largest pool of educated men she'll ever be around in her life?
All the time.
And when we have a black man of success, you can't be around whom? Dream killers. You can't be around leeches. Okay? Black men have a fear of success because black men have a fear of actually leading their community. Because you a lot of black men secretly can't make a thought without a black woman being up his ass like a puppet master. They've been taught to be afraid to make hard decisions like I talked about earlier. The hard decisions.
Would you say nothing I got nothing but hard decisions in front of me.
Exactly. Thomas Sowell, yes, he can be on the coon shit, but he said it best. There are no solutions, only trade-offs.
I want a refund. I just basically want a refund on my life. Truth. This is here. Goddamn.
It's funny because as black men, especially, not only do you have to fight through the miseducation or the diseducation system, because I don't think this system educates you for shit. You got to fight through there. You got to fight not to be put in what? Special ed. You have to fight going through this. And what happens? You get to college, and usually it's going to be an HBCU. And every time you go to college, you got to take, you notice you never hear of a men's studies course. You got to take all these courses to make you hate yourself. There's hardly any scholarships for you, black man. And I'm talking to all these people who said, well, there are scholarships for black men. Compare that to the scholarships for black women. Because one, when it comes to being successful, it means being responsible, and responsibility is kryptonite in our goddamn community. Remember, y'all asked for me to go in. Responsibility is kryptonite in our own goddamn community. Nobody wants that. Nobody likes that. You literally want everybody and their goddamn mother to literally give you something without earning it. And that's the reason why men have a fair success, because they're scared they're not going to be respected. Everybody doesn't want to give them the responsibility. That's the reason why she keep your kids away from you, because she doesn't respect you, nor does she think you can handle responsibility. Because when you're that, everybody's comfortable with black men being in a perplexable state of adolescence and juvenilism. How about that, fellas?
No lies told. No lies told.
Because black women want to be, they have a fear of failure. They have this bravado. They take your bravado. It's like Highlander. They decapitate you and take your fucking energy, your bravado, and you're the person who's wrong.
To key in on something you said, a black man being successful oftentimes means that you're going to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have community.
You're going to be alienated.
You're going to be alienated, yeah. And I think men are afraid of that. Afraid of alienation. I think some men are afraid of the hard work that it takes. And not having the support in that hard work as well.
I think black men are different in that, because it's them who come out and say, hey, you need to go and be a man. And everybody knows the hero's journey starts out very lonely. But what do we always get confused with? There's always somebody telling you, well, you need to get with this girl. But Ma, you see me trying to get my stuff together for the studies. They always want to throw little pebbles and stumbling blocks down the road so you can veer off. Why do you think so many single mothers get upset when their sons get accepted to a college that's out of state? Oh, that means you're going to leave me alone. No, no, no. You left yourself alone because you couldn't keep a man. Stop putting your failures and fallacies onto that young man. Let him grow. But like Reading Rainbow says, you ain't gotta take my word about it. Who's next? Because this might gonna get hot if I keep talking, man.
Cook, man. Cook.
Because this is the part where I'm happy. When they stricken down DEI, you think I gave a fuck? No. No, why should I give a fuck? How many black men did you rake over the coals happily for decades with child support, child custody, false domestic violence fucking charges?
Bro, just a while ago, while I was surfing these YouTube streets, little thing popped up, MSNBC, and I flipped to it. It was ugly ass Joy talking to some old black bitch, and I literally had to put a thumbs down, and I had to get away from it because it hurt my heart.
Mm.
But listen to this, and he's a black veteran, and he had me thinking some type of way because he was up here co-signing how hurt they are, on her panties and her ovary and the whatever, just all on it. Oh yeah, you're right. This is messed up. I'm like, you're a black man who ain't never had a chance. If it wasn't for you getting in the service, you think I've been in the public sector my whole life. First one, last one hired, first one fired until I started my business. That's been my whole career. But because you had the ability to get in the military, so you don't have the train of thought of thinking how it would affect other black men. You up here siding with this black woman who's going war with me. They done he's cutting off the DEI, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And I was like, bro, he was literally sickening me, Charles. If it wasn't for the fact he was a veteran, I was like, but guess what? They make smart dummies everywhere.
You learned the very lesson. Not all folks are kin folks, are they?
You goddamn right, man. You goddamn right.
Nah. I mean, think about it.
Charles,
Go ahead, sir.
how many times have I been on your show and I said that the judgment day was coming for black feminists?
Numerous.
We're here.
We're here.
This is judgment day.
And remember, it hasn't been a week yet.
2025, all the belly aching they doing, when they get to crying and going, just turn around. Hey, go talk to Michelle. Michelle led this charge for y'all. Go talk to your General Michelle. Michelle got you. Don't want to hear. So we feel nothing.
I'm glad you brought that up, AL. I want each one of y'all to give me your critique. Did Michelle set black women back 50 years and being looked at as viable mates for the world? What's your thoughts? We're going to start with Clark and PM then AL.
I think it's a silent observation and note taking going on with that stunt by Michelle Obama between not appearing at the funeral and then not attending the inauguration. I think clearly a disrespect to the position of First Lady. First Lady's not merely you being married to whoever the president is, but it's also a role a national role, and think that is a huge mar and stain on that position for Black women and for any future and potential uh, man running for office who may be married to a Black woman.
Mm.
That it's a club. It is a club. It is a insider group, and who you're married to is going to be taken into account when it comes to certain power players giving you that nod of approval to move up the ranks. And if you were married to a Black woman now, per what we've just seen from Michelle Obama, that could be a detriment for sure. So I think it has definitely put a hindrance in the way of a man who is married to a Black woman, let alone a Black woman who is going to run for the office of presidency in the future. We've already seen Kamala and how that's gone. And I think, all things aside, I think she's walked that tightrope quite well in terms of decor and mannerism, and not, you can't be too Black and too sister girl, but you also, she's trying to accentuate her ethnicity and her, I guess, her Black connections, and then she plays on the Indian stuff as well. But in any case, it's just, it's a tough road you've got to walk. And what Michelle did definitely didn't make it any easier for any Black woman, let alone, again, any man that may be married to a Black woman.
Okay, who's next? ABM?
I agree with that. But I think it's par for the course with Black women. They just don't think anything matters outside of them for the most part. That's pretty much your average Black woman. You're upset that your guy didn't win. So now it's, well, I don't want to play anymore.
I'm going to take my ball and leave. We don't care. But
There's no camaraderie. There's no honor. Like the man said, it's a club. Very few women will get the chance to say, I was first lady. And you couldn't do one simple fucking thing.
Mm.
You basically said in front of the whole world, fuck my husband. I ain't going.
Mm.
You know
and
what she said?
I'm sure Obama had to be a little bit embarrassed by that.
Totally embarrassed.
You know what I mean? And that's pretty much how a lot of Black women in America view every fucking thing. The moment they don't get their way about something, everything, fuck being the first lady, fuck the inauguration, fuck the family, fuck the household.
I'm going scorched earth policy on the world.
Fuck them kids. Oh, well, whatever. I got an attitude. Fuck them kids.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck my baby daddy and his job. Nah, fuck him. This makes Black women look very bad. But at the same time, those of us who are members of the Black community, we already know this. It's not a shock for us. That's why when I heard the news she wasn't showing up, I didn't even flinch. Because that sounds exactly like your average fucking Black woman.
Yeah.
ABM, Charles, Carl, I'm going to tell y'all exactly what she accomplished in one fell swoop. She solidified the fact you're not going to ever see another Black first lady nor a black president in office ever again. She showed her raw naked ass to Anglo-Saxon Caucasian when she did that. And they don't like that. When it comes to ceremonies and protocol and paying your dues and walking and towing the line, this one act, these two acts she just pulled off, missing a funeral of a Democratic president who she's party affiliated with and not showing up to an inauguration, she has literally sealed the fate to want to run for president. She done that, and this is my opinion, for two reasons. She wanted it in her mind to be a club of one. I made it. Me and Barry made it. There won't be nobody else, and I don't care. And guess what? I'm tired of him. I'm gonna show my ass. She, This is what she accomplished. I want y'all to think about that and ponder on it. That's what she accomplished, and it's sad.
Yeah. She basically looked at the closest thing Black America has to a monarchy and spit at it.
And you don't do that in a white man's world, in a white man's society over here, Western civilization, culture, society, third rock from the sun. You just don't do that this type of thing. Everything she did was not kosher at all whatsoever. It was not.
Just because you have a difference of opinion.
And you butt hurt about an election, and you butt hurt that you got to play second fiddle to Barry. It's your job. The minute you said I do to that man, that meant you were supposed to be dutiful to that man. Ups and downs, good and bad.
Yeah. You're supposed to be faithful to your husband above anybody. Above anybody. I don't know what's everybody's issue with it. Not hers.
And you also now are in a position where you're losing social grace. I mean, generally speaking, the Obamas were generally loved by a lot of America, even conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
So this erodes social grace and social currency. Also, think about this. Charles and ABM, you both are in Maryland. Your governor, Wes Moore, is definitely a potential candidate for 2028.
No, he ain't. No, he ain't. You did not hear me that ticket early. No, he ain't. What
And
she just
well, the point I'm getting to is he's married to a black woman. Her actions affect Wes Moore. Because now it's being thought, do we want to put somebody like that in position again?
They're not. They're not. Y'all did not hear me clearly. She knew exactly what she was doing. I just sat back and thought about this for a while. This woman does not want to see another black woman as president. This is how selfish and narcissistic she is. She is on what I wanted to accomplish. Period. I gotta deal with Barry being ahead of me. I don't want to be dutiful. I'm gonna single-handedly show my ass to these Caucasians in this Caucasian society where if anybody, like you just said, you just mentioned another viable candidate. No, America's gonna shut that shit down real quick. You can cancel Christmas on that. Because why? Come next election cycle time, all these Caucasians gonna be thinking about is how she show her raw naked ass. They're not going to be worried about the politics and the optics of nothing else. And guess what else going to happen? The media is going to double and triple down on it and keep showing that every day through the presidential cycle. I'm telling you, no, it's not going to happen. You saw your one and only mixed breed, half breed black president. You're not going to get a bona fide nothing again because they're not going to ever elect the president of Charles and keep up full-fledged African American black Negro president? Oh no, you're never gonna see that. So your hopes of seeing a mixed breed brother back in there, that's been shot to hell. She single-handedly shot that to hell.
I've actually noticed that for years. Every time we have somebody in the upper echelons of the executive branch, it's never been a full Negro or an American Negro at all.
You're not gonna see it neither. So y'all need to quit holding your breath because you're going to die. I promise you'll die if you holding your breath on that one. Please don't.
And Wes Moore, is it just me, ABM? But I'm a little bit upset that these motherfuckers didn't vote Hogan for the Senate.
No, it's not just you. Look at the fucking state of Maryland. Baltimore, black Democrat mayor, black Democrat governor, Indian woman lieutenant governor, black Democrat congressman, black Democrat woman senator. We're screwed.
We're fucked. And you're telling me Hogan was probably the best governor since I've been alive. He's definitely up there with Schaefer. How the fuck did we go from having a surplus? We had a $10 billion surplus?
How much is y'all deficit now?
About 6 billion.
God damn.
And I got one word for you. You say, how did we go to having a deficit? I got one word. Illegals.
Yep. Becoming a sanctuary, not only city, but state.
Oh, and by the way, an Indian woman lieutenant governor.
Hint, hint, nod, nod.
Oh, and guess what else they was whining about? They were whining about y'all incarcerated Attorney General Marilyn Mosby not getting a pardon. He pardoned everybody but Marilyn Mosby. Man, what was she convicted of? More shit than the law allowed? Who cares? We really hoping he would do the right thing and pardon her. Why? She's a convicted Attorney General. Why would you pardon?
It's because this is how so many black people, particularly black women, think that they are above the rules.
And they special.
While they complain about people like Trump, they also think that there's never supposed to be any punishment. I'm gonna give you an example. Right now, there's this little African girl. She was born here in America, but from African parents, working one of those nursing facilities. They do home care and shit. This little dumb bitch was videotaping herself like grinding on top of the heads of these disabled people.
Or the elderly, man, that's it.
Yeah. Of course, she's filming and uploading into Instagram and all that. So she finally gets reported. And she's now making videos saying, hey, what's the big deal? I didn't do anything wrong, yada, yada, yada. That's the attitude of a lot of black women. No matter what I do, there's never supposed to be any fucking consequences. That's why she did the shit. Mm-hmm. You didn't know as a healthcare professional this was a bad look? Of course she didn't fucking know, because black women never think they're wrong about shit.
They're nearsighted in their thinking, their thought process, and how they go about doing shit. Man, they don't never think no further than they can fucking take a poop, a fart, let alone piss down their leg.
So, of course, when it comes to Mosby, it's, hey, she should get a pardon. Why?
I'm talking about seriously butthurt. They butthurt about that. Oh, they wrong for that. You could.
Where were they where were they at when Obama didn't pardon the first black Secret Service agent, Abraham Bolden? Where were they at on that pardon?
Oh, wow.
Well, wait a minute. Isn't Joe Biden a friend of black people?
If you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black.
That's right. You ain't black if you don't vote for Joe.
Where were all these pardon Mosby people when it was Kwame Kilpatrick?
Oh. And who pardoned Kwame, though?
Tito.
I'm a mute up, man. Don't get me started.
White Chief Tito did.
Oh, and Kwme's still in jail, isn't he?
No, he got pardoned.
Oh,
what
Trump pardoned?
Trump pardoned him? Okay.
No. Let me be correct and factual. Not Cheeto. It was Biden before he left. Kwame just got pardoned by Biden.
Oh
wow. Trump just pardoned that black man and woman, the anti-abortion activist, the black couple. They did something and got thrown in fucking prison. They've been in prison the last 4 years Trump pardoned them. Where's everybody at? He's racist. He's a white supremacist, right?
No, they just mean he pardoned all those people who marched on the Capitol that day.
Oh, but you know what though? Everybody's quiet about that Fauci pardon.
Oh,
No problem there.
Ain't saying
They
nothing.
mad about the J6ers, but they quiet about that Fauci shit.
And Fauci done way more harm than that January 6th shit.
oh man. I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, wow. At this point, it's like these motherfuckers. They pick and choose when they're insulted by something. Pick and choose. Oh my goodness. Oh, by the way, Trump's racist, but he pardoned my favorite hip hop artist. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Trump's racist, but he actually gave me, suspended H-1 visa so I could start a business or get the positions that I needed.
You know what?
Playtime is over. That's how I look at it.
I mean, people are sick. People have gotten sick of this shit. People are sick of this shit, man. I mean, these are the same motherfuckers that raised hell about cooking with Kaya. And then noticed the attention she was getting from men. And guess what? Got jealous, so they tried to start their own bootleg cooking channels with that horrible ass food they were making.
And that's black women in a nutshell. I mean, when I first heard of the girl, I thought she was like showing ass or something. Like she's not even doing shit.
Nah, she does that little twerk dance, which is normal once you see women. But she cooks her ass off. I get it. I guess they're jealous because she told them the truth. You better cook for your man before somebody like me does.
Yeah.
What you mean you gonna cook for my man? I don't even cook for my man. How dare you talk about cooking for a man?
You have to use the new woke 21st century terminology, Charles. She's male centered.
Oh, male centered?
Yeah. She's male centered. Feminism is dying, man. This all of this shit, it's coming to an end.
Wow. It's disgusting, man.
That young girl makes a YouTube channel, blows up, and who wants to destroy her? Other black women.
Not one black man saw anything she was doing wrong.
You can't put that on black men.
Actually, black men were her biggest supporters.
And I've said it.
And actually,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
I was going to say this before you go. Kaya actually, a few women actually thank Kaya for getting them straight because they were like, okay, I better cook for my man before a pretty young thing like you meets up with him and you lose him forever.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. How many times have I came to your channel and said this? Black women have to start calling out black women.
It's very true.
Because you're right. It's not my fucking job.
Very true. I think that's the shameful part about them is that they haven't learned their lesson yet. Well, why should we do it? Okay, you don't want to do it? You gonna learn today?
It takes pain to learn lessons like that. They haven't felt true pain yet.
But I love how they just made.
Yeah, you're right. It takes true pain. And see, we're all about the painful lessons.
Yeah, so I got a couple of conversations going on at once. I don't want to eat up the stream, but I do just want to chime in where I can. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's really truly what it takes, man. Like they haven't endured enough suffering to really learn. And I say that because as men, we absolutely understand what it means to have to go through painful lessons because pain is a part of life for us. And it's like those folks just haven't experienced. They've had it too good for too long. So they have to understand that in order to truly course correct, you're not going to course correct until you feel real, absolute pain. And that's unfortunately what is coming, even after warning, of, hey man, you don't want to make this move. This ain't the move. You shouldn't be doing this. I do what I want. You can't tell me nothing. Who gonna check me, boo? Okay, life gonna check you. The environment gonna check you. Pain corrects. Pain teaches. Pain clarifies. But until you learn it,
You gotta
it
be a
is what it is.
perfectionist somewhere. Gotta start being a perfectionist somewhere.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm just here for it at this point. I mean, I'm just like I said, I'm just sitting on top of the wall of indifference, man. I got popcorn and beer. I'm just gonna watch the show from here.
Hey, AL said bring him back up, Charles.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's a lot of black men at this point. I think a lot of black men been tapped out, and we're just going to sit here and say, "Hey, we told you so."
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, man. Like for real, for real.
I mean,
My whole thing is this: when they start talking greasy mouth pauses with a straight face and a scale, and so, and so, what? And so, and just have them looking real ridiculous when they. What do you mean? And so, that's my response to all the bullshit, whining and crying you do, and all the woe is me and fake tears. And so, so you mean to tell me you don't care? Goddamn right, I told you. And so.
but it's coming down the pipe right now because the last few years and this debacle within less than a week of each other, black women have priced themselves out the dating market. You don't want to be the one to say, oh, I got to take you to this important event and you're embarrassed the fuck out of me. Either not showing or showing up fucked up. Do you think black men are starting to see the gamble they play with black women now?
Some, yes, more so than before, but not enough for it to reach critical mass and make a massive amount of change in a short period of time, if that makes sense. It is going to take, I would say, the ones of us who have seen it, who have been through it, and who have figured it out, have accepted it, are going to be fine. But there's always going to be that select group who are still going to basically alpha their way through it. And, you can only save so many. So at that point, I'm just kind of like, hey, man, if you want to fall on the sword, man, that's on you. I'm just not going to fall with you.
Wow. I mean, if you notice, everything they accused us about is backfiring on them in a major way.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, what I was going to say is in the land of lions and wolves, there's always enough sacrificial lambs to go around. So, hey, you just make sure you're not one of them. You know what I mean?
I think that's the moral of the day. Don't be afraid to walk away, and don't forget to pull that fucking that fucking power sword in the air, proclaim your victory. I mean, I can't think of a better way to say it. It's like, look, when it always shows me that the connection of black men routinely with their women, the whole world sees as nothing but adversarial. I want everybody to put this in perspective, especially those of you who have sons. I mean, at some point, you gotta say to yourself, at what point do we look at the community as stupid as fuck?
I tell myself every day I scan through YouTube off and on, looking at shit. I'm like, y'all just, y'all, you know what I'm saying? I don't even blame the men no more because I resign myself to the fact the men are in the positions they're in because of their first teachers. Black men, who are our first teachers? Who are our first teachers?
Your mom.
Yeah. So I quit laying the blame on them. I quit. That's a burden and iniquity she gonna have to bear. And that's gonna be an eternal hot damnation she gonna have to deal with on her way down south, wouldn't it? I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was praying to the Lord, this and that. No, you lived a contrarian life your whole life. Your whole life. And you was a backslider. Basically. And you thought you was gonna get in heaven? I'll let you keep fooling yourself. Sunday after Sunday while you put on them ugly ass outfits and them ugly ass hat, thinking you cute, walking up in there listening to a pulpit demon trying to get you up out of your dollars and your drawers. No thank you. And so at this point, I feel nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that. It's like there's no reason to feel. I mean, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, I don't really feel anything. But also, man, it's like I'm not angry about. Like I'm at that point too. Like I said, it's true indifference. It's like I'm not upset about none of this stuff. Not sad about it. Not even hell. I'm at a point. I'm not even celebrating it. I'm just kind of like, oh, that happened. Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't. I don't understand. I got everything I want, but why don't these men want to do? Hey, look, I don't know, man. I can't call it. You tell me. You'll figure it out eventually, or you won't. Either way, I'm gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I look at the situation. I tell like I got some young friends and stuff, man. They on the same page. It's like I ain't really too much worried about it, dude. Because as far as we concerned, I mean, we follow the history of stuff. You know, we study, the teachings of BGS and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, GG, and everybody, and on top of our own experience. And it's like, dude, y'all had 6 decades to course correct. You ain't figured it out in 60 plus years. You ain't wanted to figure it out, and that's cool. So you go and do you, man.
Why is society and the world and these black men turning their backs on us? What have we done that's so bad for them not to want to date us? Look, when you ask for $200 and $300 dates and you too good for where I want to take you out to eat, you got to be picked something. Look at here. And then what? I just seen a video the other day. Oh, I was so lit. A dude. I know this dude had to be like at least 12, 15 years older than the chick. She was young. They out on a date at a nice restaurant. It might have been Applebee's or Chili's or something. It don't matter. The first thing she started doing is they order their meals. They trying to order their meals. Then she turns and tells, "I'm finna order some to go." And he said, "For what?" She said, "My kids." Ask me how many to go orders did she place besides what she ordered for herself. Y'all just ask me. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess.
3,
Higher. Go higher.
7.
Go lower one. Go lower one. She ordered 6 orders to go. So that lets you know right there, she had 6 other mouths to feed beside herself. That man told that waitress, "No, don't do that." She said, "Excuse me." She started trying to go off. That man just politely got up and walked away and left and told the waitress, "Whatever you trying to order, that's on her. I rescind my order. I don't want it. I'm leaving." And then she was trying to have a fit, throw a fit. I'm like, look at here, jumping in her 5-year-old child like state. She really had the dassy thing just because she had a little small peanut high yellow face and she had on some Run DMC ass frame glasses with a messed up nose that could barely hold themselves up. I'm like, honey, did nobody teach you to match your face to your frames so they won't look so froze? But no culture, uncool. And this broad really, and then what she had ordered for herself was roughly $45 to $50, give or take. And then she started ordering like fish plates, and I'm like, the nerve of you, the audacity. And you thought this man was going to pay for your meal and your 6 kids' meals, and you know you wasn't finna give them none. You know you wasn't finna give them none.
Yeah, that's terrible. Ain't no way. Somebody getting some good sleep, man. I can hear you.
I know, right?
Shoot, I was like, uh-oh, who over there nodding?
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering I'm just wondering for everybody. What number one? I've told this for lots of people.
Mhm.
Get your training, get your firearms training, get a lot of your what do they call it? Your detachable power sockets where you could jump start a car.
Mhm.
Get your money right, get your soul right, your body right. Then everything will be all right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just honestly just watching this stuff, man. I was talking to one of my homeboys the other day, man, and I was just sitting here just reflecting on everything that's been going on, just like within the last, let's just say within the last 5 to 10 years, man. And it's honestly just good to see a lot more brothers starting to take their values seriously, especially after the BGS greatest hit, Value Your Light and Attention. It's like the more people, and I've actually shared that video with a lot of my friends and stuff, and they just kind of understand it. And it's like, yeah, you're on the same page, man. I mean, okay. And one of my former supervisors, man, I used to work with a few years ago, we was having this conversation about females and stuff like that. And he was talking about one time he was just sitting chatting with his pops and was like, man, I don't know what to do. You know, she's arguing and I got this one over here argue with me and this, that, and this pops. He said, this pop said to him, he said, look, man, she gonna be mad till she ain't mad no more. And when I heard that come out of his mouth, man, I was like, yeah, yeah, that's it. It's like, if that's the case, cool. Well, then everything else work itself out. You'll be all right. Because either they gonna stay or they gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing too, like Minneapolis Ed, man, I don't even know if his channel's still around, man. I hope that brother's doing fantastic. But
Yeah.
it's like when it came to lose, like if you worried about losing a chick to a dude or something like that, or just somebody, it's kind of like, Like he said, it's her pussy. She gonna give it to whoever she want to. And it's like, damn, you right. You know what? I don't even understand. Even for me, I said reflected on that was like, yeah. Oh, well, I ain't gonna worry about it now. I ain't worried about whether or not you get mad. I ain't worried about whether or not you leave. And then on top of that, just shoot, shout out to Pimp God, man. He was like, he chanted the mantra, ain't no single chick I can't live without. It was like, once I told a couple of guy friends of mine, like, man, once you can get to that point where you can recite those things, you can internalize it, the world gets a lot easier because then you really can focus more on yourself and what you need to do here with the time that you're still here.
You get there around like 3:30.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, shoot, man. Personally, it's 1 o'clock. I gotta get ready to get some sleep anyway because I gotta be up in about 4 hours. But man, I just want to make sure I did make it over here, man, so I could support the channel. I've been on a couple of calls for the last couple of hours, man. I'm just glad I was able to come support, man.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Be safe and don't be a stranger.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. We still got to get on Call of Duty at some point because I got Black Ops 6 now, man. I've been playing that like crazy. So
You old killmonger freaks. Y'all be killing me.
yeah, man. Well, let me go. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Y'all
All
take
right.
care.
Anybody else have any last words?
I'm good, Chuck. I just had to come and support like I always do. You know, you my main man. I'll probably see you sometime tomorrow on Arts or whoever. You know how we do. We got to support each other. We got. My brother, my champion, my savior. Deuces. Woo!
ABM?
He dipped, but I appreciate you, Charles. Get your rest, man. Appreciate you for having me up. And drinks on me next time in Baltimore.
Hey, I'll take you for that one.
All right,
Great
man.
talk with everybody. Man, we're not even a weekend yet, and Trump's already making headlines. Now, what are we going to ask for return? That's the biggest decision. I'd rather lie for you than tell you. Woo! And we out.